Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and as you've noticed, things might look and sound a little bit different today, or at least sound a little bit different today, because I'm trying out my new microphone, and it's not working as well as I would like. But that being said, I still want to do the show. The show must go on, as the people in the theaters like to say. And without further ado, I figured we would just jump right into it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about today is Polygon. Because when I think about gaming and I think about the future of the industry, I like to go to Polygon. Not really. Because today they wrote an article where they basically defend Twitch THOTS. In an article titled "Streamer Amaranth is the latest example of Twitch THOT harassment problem." Now, look, don't get me wrong, okay? Going into Twitch and going up to any woman who is streaming and just calling her a thought, it's probably not the coolest thing to do, okay? It's not the coolest thing to do. I don't know much about this woman, but I find it interesting that they are, in fact, defending her and defending Alinity. Now, Alinity got into trouble recently when she copyright struck, whatever the phrasing was, PewDiePie's video where he called her a Twitch thought, and that kind of spawned this big debate online about it. And as a result, it's kind of permeated itself further into Twitch by, I think, approaching many different women and referring to them as thoughts. It's a crap insult, but it's a dumb meme insult. It was big for a hot minute in certain subsections, and now it's finding its way into other parts. And of course, people like Polygon are going to attack it as being sexist and misogynistic, never minding the fact that ultimately it's meant to denote a very specific type of person, and people are just ultimately misusing it because, well, it's just the internet. And this is what they do. They always misuse things. We can never have anything nice because of the internet, but this is what the article says. On Twitch, there is a subset of female streamers who are often derided as Twitch thoughts, a sexist, degrading term that defines streamers by their looks. The insult is frequently used by Twitch viewers and streamers, angry Redditors, and YouTubers like PewDiePie who claim to use it as a meme. The term thought appeared in Urban Dictionary in 2012 and stands for that hoe over there. It is now primarily used to describe a woman as promiscuous, but on platforms like Twitch and YouTube, the meme takes on different forms. Look, it's mostly used to describe women who are crazy, not promiscuous, but just that hoe over there. It's not meant to be a sexual thing. It's like, she just crazy. Like, yo, that bitch is cray. Like, that's pretty much what it boils down to. In most of the context that I have seen, that's what it's been used as. But of course, leave it to Polygon to try to find whatever thing they can to push it one direction over what it traditionally is being known as. They want to argue, if you want to argue the semantics of terminology, we could always break down the argument over the definition of feminism, right? If I were to go to the writer of this article and say, will you please define feminism? They'll say that it is in fact about equality between men and women. That's the argument that they like to use because that's the first definition. The second definition, which is more accurate of a definition, is really, well, for the advancement of women's issues. That's pretty much what it boils down to. Same thing is kind of being done here, except they're defending the Twitch thoughts. I don't know. It's hard. Look, I'm not against anyone hustling in this business, but there are some people on Twitch that I have seen that definitely fall in line with that particular term. And there are definitely some people I've seen on YouTube and Instagram and other Snapchat and WhatsApp and other social media forums, these other influencers, that most definitely use the term. She goes on to say, that's what makes intent and context behind the term so important. While some people see the phrase Twitch thought as a meme, it's most often used to insult a female streamer on predominantly male platform. A few high-profile cases in recent months have spawned new conversations about the term and with how many women on the platform are seen. That extends to two particularly well-known Twitch streamers, Alinity and Amaranth. You have to love that they're trying to find a way to connect these two together through that particular means. Like, oh, these are the two that are getting the most harassment. Alinity is getting the crap she's getting for the blatant abuses of content ID claims and copyright laws. We know this. Those fake DMCA claims, those false content ID claims that are meant to take the income from people who have just been mean to her or have been critical of her. She, by her own admission, has come out and said that she makes like $700 extra a month as a result of that. I mean, there are reasons why people are striking out against her. Amaranth, on the other hand, I'm more sympathetic to based upon what I've read in this article. It goes on to say that people on subreddits like r/livestream_fail have since referred to Amaranth as one of the biggest Twitch thoughts, a term often used by men to describe a perceived subset of women on the platform. She's also received insulting tweets and says she's been doxxed since the story broke about her relationship. That story effectively is that she was lying about being single in order to further solicit donations from single men who thought they might have a shot with her. I don't know if that's true or not, but let's be realistic. That doesn't seem out of the norm for the internet. Now, other people have jumped to her defense, arguing that it's more about angry members in the community who are upset than it does about Amaranth. Now, Amaranth, who has over 525,000 followers on Twitch, addressed aspects of the situation on Twitter. She says that people have doxed her, leading her to report suspicious behavior around her home. She also addressed accusations that she was lying to subscribers in order to generate more income, saying here, people don't donate money to me because they think it improves their chances with me in some romantic way, more than do people donate to large male streamers because they fantasize about a romantic engagement with Soda, Lyric, or Ninja. That mentality is just a condescending meme perpetuated by viewers of other streamers who want to feel better about themselves and their content preferences. Well, let's kind of look at it like this. Let's remove the term romantic out of the situation, and let's just talk about the term, the idea there about having a connection with somebody. People who watch my content, who follow me on Twitter, they know about my life. They know about my daughter. They know about some of the struggles that I've had or some of the wins that I've had, as well as they know about this from other people that they follow. People find themselves engaged in other people's lives based upon how much is shared, and they form a connection. It may not be romantic or sexual. It could just be platonic, but a connection is a connection. The big problem with it, though, is that when that connection does in fact turn one way or another based upon certain beliefs of the person watching, as well as expectations of that person. And in no way do I support that or endorse that at all. But we have to be fair here. We have to be realistic here. And put out there that when we do this as a job, there are people out there who will look at this from a perspective of closeness. They will form an attachment. They will come back to your videos every single day. They'll come watch your live streams. They'll talk to you on Twitter. They'll come see you at events. They'll travel across the country or the world to come meet you because to them, you mean a lot. Now, to the person who is on the other side of that camera, right, the one that's putting themselves out there, they don't always get the opportunity to fully deal with it, right? Like it's a lot of people at once, and so it can become this very overwhelming thing. But Polygon defending Twitch Thoughts, I think, is pretty funny because they're defending two women, specifically, one of whom I think has a valid claim, that would be Amaranth, and the other one is Alinity, and Alinity can straight up sit and spin because look, she's a false flagging, content ID abusing thought, and I think that's a purely apt description. Okay, so jumping over into a story that I wanted to cover, but I just wanted to wait for there to be more information, was the whole permit patty thing. Now, the other day, a woman by the name of Alison Ettel left her apartment building inside San Francisco, walked outside to see a young black girl selling water to earn money to go to Disneyland with her family. That's what she was out there trying to do, which is a totally noble act, and in no way do I have a problem with that, but well, Permit Patty contacted the police to rat this girl out for not having a permit to sell the water. And it caused a big shitstorm. I mean, a huge, gigantic shitstorm to the point of where like this woman was receiving death threats and people, there's a whole bunch of people that stopped selling her products. She runs a cannabis business in San Francisco. I mean, it was bad, even though she herself came out and said that this was not racist, that this was not meant to be a racist act, that the girl was just making lots of noise and it was just disturbing her. Never mind the fact that she is across the street from a ballpark. So you figure noise would be a thing when it comes to, when it comes to dealing with, ball games and people, there'd be noise. But I can understand that particular argument. I can. And the reason why I can is because when I used to live in my old apartment building, they were doing construction, trying to expand out the streets. It was a 7-month plan or longer, I think, at this point. And they were doing construction right outside my window, roughly 24 hours a day. Maybe there'd be a couple hours in between or there'd be breaking for lunch or whatever, but it was almost nonstop construction for over half a year. It restricted me in doing my videos. It was so hard to live with. So I understand noise outside of someone's apartment and it having an impact on them mentally. Now, I could not call the police on them, but I did call the construction company multiple times to complain about the constant jackhammer that was going off outside of my window at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I do get what Patty was up to, or what Allison was up to. But at the same time, in the situation like this, she's going to be screwed, and she is because, well, she has resigned as CEO of the company after the backlash. The woman, dubbed Permit Patty for threatening to call police on an 8-year-old black girl selling water on the street, has stepped down as CEO of her cannabis company. The move follows massive online backlash that resulted in her products getting dropped by other marijuana sellers. Several Bay Area dispensaries are now refusing to sell products made by Allison, her company, TreatWell Health. It says here that it is Ms. Ettel's belief that TreatWell, its employees, and patients should not have to suffer because of a situation that occurred in an escalated moment. At least 3 marijuana dispensaries have publicly stated they would stop selling TreatWell products. So what you have is this woman who built this company that, interestingly enough, sells cannabis products for animals, even though that's in no way FDA tested or approved, but whatever. Coming out and basically having to step down from the company that she probably built, or she's definitely the CEO of. And I don't think that's right. I just don't think that's right. You can disagree with me, like, oh, this is what happens when you do this sort of thing. But again, if she's coming out there and she is saying, like, look, there is an incident where there's a lot of noise and people are being loud, and she's calling the police over this thing. She says she didn't know that it was a black girl when she called the cops. I'm actually inclined to believe her. I think that just the noise outside is probably enough to trigger her to do that. Because again, I've been in those kind of situations, and so I do understand it. Should there have been more discussion between her and the woman who was recording her, which I do believe was the girl's mother? Yes, 100%. But it was very similar to the situation in Portland with the bakery that refused to serve the black woman after closing. It was, she went out there and she recorded it specifically to put this person, to put this company, to put these employees on blast, knowing damn well what would happen. And I do believe that the particular result of this particular incident is also the same. I think when you do that, when you record that, instead of engaging in a conversation with the person, trying to explain to them the overall context of the situation, you know damn well what kind of response is going to happen. And once the internet finds out who this person is, they're going to react the way that the internet's going to react. Do I think she should step down from her company? No. She offered an apology to the girl. That should be enough. We should be big enough as a society to push for that to be the norm, not the utter nuking of your entire existence from orbit. And quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of that happening. And so, yeah, I'm backing Permit Patty here in terms of not having her life destroyed. Do we know who she is? Yes. Is she a little overzealous in calling the police on a girl selling water? Yes. Should this whole situation have happened? 100% no. But at the same time, we should be compassionate enough as a culture, as a society, to come back and say, yeah, we don't really want to, we don't really want to, like, see someone's livelihood be taken away because of a misstep. Maybe we could be better than that. Wouldn't it be nice? I think it would be a little bit on the nice side if that actually happened. But speaking of not nice things, in fact, really horrible things, Charlottesville last summer was a terrible event. The whole thing was just a shit show from beginning to end, and as a result, it did end in the death of Heather Heyer, I believe her name was. And as a result of that, the man who killed her is faces federal charges and could receive the death penalty. Yeah. He's not going to be having a good time. He's not going to be having a good time considering what the indictment says here. Now, it says the man accused of mowing down a counter-protester at last year's white nationalist rally in Charlottesville is now facing federal hate crime charges and could receive the death penalty. James Alex Fields Jr. from Ohio has been charged with 1 count of a hate crime resulting in the death of 32-year-old Heather Heyer. He also faces 28 other hate crime charges involving an attempt to kill dozens of other people who were injured, according to the indictment released on Wednesday. A 30th charge accuses him of racially motivated violent interference with a federally protected activity. At a press conference, U.S. Attorney Thomas Cullen told representatives that a Justice Department team would present Attorney General Jeff Sessions with the option of pursuing the death penalty. Cullen added that Sessions would make the decision on the matter in the near future. Fields already faces first-degree murder charges and other charges at the state level. He is due to stand trial on those charges in November. And that's where it's at for James Alex Fields. This dude is probably going to end up getting the death penalty. And there are people out there that will argue against this. They will argue very much against this. They'll be like, no, he shouldn't do it. It was just a manslaughter charge, whatever. He was being pushed and it was a self-defense act. I don't think you can argue that anymore. The part of the investigation process showed that when he had left home, he was texted a message saying, be careful. He responded back, basically with a Hitler meme. He went to the rally, to the Tiki Torch rally. He was out there driving around. He was associated with these people. And ultimately it does kind of appear that he was very much trying to, you know, I don't think he was trying to kill her, but I think that's just ultimately what happened. As sad as it is, that's exactly, you know, these things are just sad. But he still committed the act. He still committed the crime. You gotta pay for it. But I think given the situation involving Charlottesville, what the fallout from Charlottesville, the death penalty feels like it's probably going to end up being a big push by prosecutors. Now, whether or not Attorney Jeff Sessions is going to agree with that or go for that has yet to be seen. But if I'm being honest here, if I'm being truthful, I would argue that Jeff Sessions is probably going to do it, probably going to push for it, simply because of the fallout over the immigration situation with the children. I do. I think he'll want a little bit of positive push there with some people, some potential voters for this particular fall or even 2020. And as a result of that, he may actually go for this. But look, ultimately, let me tell you how I feel. I don't think the death penalty is the right call of action. I don't think it's the right course of action here. What James Alex Field did, or what he's accused of doing, is heinous. It's tremendously terrible. And he is, by all intents and purposes, based upon what I've seen, a bigoted, hateful son of a bitch who deserves to spend the rest of his life behind bars paying for the life that he took by running her down in the car. Life in prison is the best course of action. Plus, it's way cheaper financially than anything else when it comes to dealing with this kind of stuff. So again, look, you may have a difference of opinion on this than I do, and that's entirely fine. I want you to write it down in the comments below, and let's have a conversation about it, because I feel, based upon the Permit Patty story, a conversation is probably the best course of action that we can do. And that's where I'm going to wrap up today's episode. So if you guys have your thoughts, please voice them below. All right, I definitely want to hear them. If you haven't already, please thumbs up the video and subscribe to the channel, and check back tomorrow for another video from me. If you have any stories you want to submit, you can do so. Links below in the video description. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.